When a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. That quote is by Alexander DeHayer. Good afternoon, class. My name is Specialist Ornelas, and today I would like to welcome Staff Sergeant Martin. He is my STL. Thank you for being here. So today, this class will be unclassified, so feel free to take notes. I would suggest you do so. Today's class will be over Army values, and like I said, my name is Specialist Ornelas. On today's agenda, we'll first be going over the risk assessment, then the introduction. We'll be discussing what the Army values are, the differences in all 7 of the Army values, and the importance of the 7 Army values. I will then give a summary, and we'll go over any questions, if anybody has any, at the end of class. Okay, today's risk assessment. Today's risk is low. Some of the hazards we will have is the weather. The weather's been bad outside, so in the case of a tornado, we will be going into the latrine down the hall on the left, and we will hold and take cover there until the storm passes, or until the tornado passes. Another hazard is fire. Our nearest exit in case of a fire will be the door at the back of the classroom. If there is a fire covering the door, we will use the push-out window in the back of in the front of the classroom. It is off camera, and we do have a fire extinguisher if that is necessary. In case of an active shooter, we will first run, then hide and fight if necessary. And our last hazard will be tripping and falling. Currently, there are some things on the ground. Just make sure that you have situational awareness and that you don't trip over anything that's on the ground, and make sure you are paying attention to where you're walking when you are getting up, and make sure you push in your chairs when you're getting up as well. If you need to take a phone call, please leave the room so you don't disturb any of the students. And if you're falling asleep, please stand up and move to the back of the class so we're not in the way of anybody else as well. If you need to use the restroom, just get up and do so. Like I said, the latrine's down the hall on the left, first door on the left, so go ahead and do that. The Army's green policy is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So once we're done with class, we'll make sure that we pick up everything that we used. Any notes, don't forget those, and make sure you pretty much pick up everything that you brought in here. Don't leave anything behind, and push in your chairs when class is over. Introduction. So the 7 Army values is what we'll be going over. We're going to define what each Army value means. And for a reference, if you would like to look up any information on this yourself, it'll be in CC 7-21.13. That's chapter 3. Overview of the Army values. Leadership is the acronym we use in the Army for the Army values. Is loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Our first Army value is loyalty. Definition is to bear true faith and allegiance to the U.S. Constitution, the Army, your unit, and other soldiers. So loyalty isn't always the same to everyone. Just keep that in mind. But that is the Army's definition. Loyalty is one of the first values we apply in the Army by swearing an oath to our country, the President of the United States, and the officers appointed over us. So all y'all remember going to MEPS, raising your right hand, and swearing that oath. You might not have known it at the time, but that is your first Army value. You're showing it on day 1. So loyalty is standing up for those to the right and the left of you, no matter what the circumstance is. Second Army values, duty. Army definition is fulfill your obligation. So every soldier has duties and responsibilities, but they don't always have to be done by themselves. Being able to complete a task is part of an obligation. Being able to complete a task as a team is also a duty in itself. Some people can't do that. Kudos to you if you can. And if you can't, hopefully you're working on that, because being a team is what the Army's all about. And that is part of our duty, is to work together. So duty also means to complete a task given to us the best that we can to complete the mission. Each soldier should always perform his or her duties to the best of their ability. I hope we're all living up to that standard. Anytime you do something, you always want to do it to the best of your capabilities. Respect. Definitions: treat people as they should be treated. So we all know that old saying, to gain respect, you must treat others the way you want to be treated. We've all said it. We've all heard it. So respect being the third Army value is possibly one of the most important values. Without respect, it can be very difficult to uphold any of the other Army values. So if you don't have respect for the Army values, you really don't care too much about them. So you're probably not going to be following any of them. Selfless service. So number 4. Definition is to put the welfare of the nation, the Army, and your subordinates before your own. Selfless service is the 4th Army value, as I said. It plays a big part in the type of Army we are. The Army defends its allies and countries that are sometimes unable to defend themselves. Even if they're not our allies, sometimes we go help out, a needy hand. And, we lend ourselves in any type of support we can if it's for the right cause. As a civilian, we willingly offered to serve our country without a thought of recognition, which is true selfless service. So once again, when y'all went to MEPS or even went to the recruiting office, you're offering a selfless service. A lot of us go in there and, we're enlisting for really nothing in return, just because we want to serve our country. So that's awesome that, we have that type of country that doesn't really force you to be in, but we still have such a great military. So honor, big one. Definition is live up to the Army values. So living up to all 7 Army values. To have honor is to have qualities such as valor, good morals, honesty, self-discipline, and so on. Like tons of them. It's very hard to be honorable. And hopefully we all strive to be honorable every day. The highest military award is the Medal of Honor. This award is given to soldiers who develop a habit of being honorable. And that is straight out the book. A person who is honorable goes above and beyond, looks for good opinions from others, and surpasses their obligations. That's a very important one. Integrity. Definition is do what is right, legally and morally. Integrity is something you develop by abiding by all moral principles. Having a good moral character and doing the right thing when no one else is looking is the best way to acquire good integrity. Being known as a person with good integrity often brings you more responsibility and trust. So we all know those people. We know what we ourselves do when no one else is looking. Doesn't always go noticed, but you to yourself, you know that you have good integrity if you're that person. Personal courage. Definition is face fear, danger, or adversity, physical or moral. And we'll go over what each one of those are. So personal courage has always held a place in the United States Army. Personal courage can either be physical or moral, as we said. A type of physical courage could be to not quit when your body tells you you can't go any longer. So we all know them Monday runs, them AGR runs. They get long and they feel like they're never going to end. That's when you have that physical courage to not stop and keep up with the group. When speaking of moral courage, It could be a matter of putting your life on the line or for moral reasons, regardless of the risk or consequences. So I'm sure even out of the military and in the military, all of y'all have taken a risk for a friend or a family member that got you in trouble, even though you really weren't even involved. That also takes a lot of personal courage. So in summary, stated and defined each Army value, gave examples of each Army value. The Army values are the roots of the Army, and these help mold the type of soldiers that we are today. They guide our actions on and off duty. Without these values, we would have a very ineffective Army. The Army values are the foundation in which the Army stands on. With one, you cannot have the other, and without one support beam, the system would fail. So I just want to say, I really appreciate everybody staying awake and not hurting themselves or anything like that. There's no spills or anything, so good job. I'm happy everybody was paying attention. Hopefully, everybody has some good thoughts over this class. So if y'all have any questions, love to hear them now. No questions? All right. Thank you. That'll be it for today's class. And if you would please, before you leave, pick up anything you brought in and push in your chairs and clean up after yourself. Thank you.